Hi, Michigan Green Party. I'm Howie Hawkins. I'm seeking the Green Party nomination. I'm hoping to get your vote in your primary. And here we are. We're in a situation where the United States is becoming a failed state. We got 5% of the world's population. We got 30% of the coronavirus deaths. The economy is flat on its back. Big business is getting relief, but not the working people or the small businesses. Trump is completely inept, doesn't know what the hell he's doing. And Biden, who's got the megaphone and the platform, is invisible. So this is a time for the Green Party to step up. I think people are going to want to look to us for direction on where we're going to go. So a little bit about me. I'm a retired Teamster. I've been an activist, though, since the 1960s. Got involved early civil rights, anti-war movement, ecology. Got committed to an independent political party for the people back then. Supported Peace and Freedom, People's Party, Citizens Party, and got invited to the first National Green Party meeting where we tried to start organizing in St. Paul, Minnesota in 1984. And my message there was, we can't build this out of a presidential campaign. We got to organize at the grassroots and build it from the bottom up. And we proceeded to do that. And when Ralph Nader was ready to run, we were able to get him on over 40 ballots. And that put us on the national map. Since then, the Green Party in New York's run me 3 times for governor. Each time we got enough votes to get a ballot line. And then a bunch of people asked me to run for president early in 2019. It took me a while to get my head around that, but here I am. And our campaign has 2 major goals. One is we want to inject green solutions into the national debate. We don't want to run on the margins. We want to have a big impact. And secondly, we're committed to party building. And we need to build a party to have the power to get those green solutions into the national debate. So in terms of the issues, there are 4 life or death issues I'll just focus on here that we are facing: coronavirus, climate inequality, and nuclear weapons. And now the coronavirus, people got to realize how serious this is. We've had coronaviruses before, SARS-1 and MERS, and it's the common cold. That family of viruses, it's hard for us to develop long-term immunity, and it's hard to develop vaccines. So we got a problem that's going to be long-term. Now, immediately, we got to provide federal protections so people have income, a job, their housing, healthcare, even access to food. And we need OSHA standards to enforce personal protection when we go back to work. None of this is happening from the federal level. Trump doesn't know what he's doing, and Biden isn't providing direction. Those are immediate things. I have a statement on my website about what we need from the new coronavirus relief package. That's at howiehawkins.us. Long term, this is where the eco-socialist Green New Deal comes in, because we got to reinvest in building the economy. After wars, economies come back. After pandemics, because we didn't destroy a lot of capital stock, it takes a long time. And here we got a situation where we need the public sector to step up, particularly with things like food production. If our agricultural people get sick, where's the food going to come from? So this is where the public sector's got to step up, which leads into climate. I've been calling for an eco-socialist Green New Deal. I was the first candidate in this country to run for a Green New Deal. When I ran for governor in 2010, Jill Stein ran on it in 2012 and 2016. That's been our signature issue with the Green Party. The Democrats took the brand and diluted the content. And we got to bring back the content, like fighting, which they dropped in that non-binding resolution, all new fossil fuel infrastructure, including fracking, and like the Enbridge Line 5 up there that shouldn't be expanded, it should be shut down. And I was happy to go up to the Paddle Up Flotilla back last Labor Day to add my voice to that demand. So what we need is to do what we did during World War II. Federal government took over a quarter of the manufacturing capacity of the country in that emergency in order to build the arsenal of democracy, turn industry on a dime so we could arm the US, Russia, and the UK to defeat the Nazis. We need to do nothing less to defeat climate change. So we need to do this through the public sector if we're going to get to our goal, which the climate science says we got to do, which is 0 to negative greenhouse gas emissions and 100% clean energy by 2030. And that will be a big boon to the economy. Now, part of my Green New Deal has also been an economic bill of rights. And inequality is a huge problem. It's been growing for 45 years. And now we have deaths of despair. Working class life expectancies are declining. So what we're calling for is guarantees to employment, income, housing, healthcare, education, and a secure retirement. And I don't have time to go into details how we do that, but that should be the least the government should guarantee people, so we can begin to make sure people aren't, we need to end poverty and economic despair for particularly working class people. And finally, the fourth issue is this new nuclear arms race. As you know, the bullet to the atomic scientists has moved the doomsday clock closer to midnight than it's ever been. The last bilateral treaty between the United States and Russia expires next February 5th. That's strategic arms. There's no negotiations going on. We're modernizing our nuclear forces, putting tactical nukes and conventional forces with the crazy doctrine that we can escalate to de-escalate. No, there's a doomsday machine, and that was the title of Daniel Ellsberg's last book. As soon as the nukes start flying, they're all going to fly, and we're done. So what I'm calling for is nuclear disarmament initiatives. We should pledge no first use. We should disarm to a minimum credible deterrent. We should cut the military budget on the order of 75%. Bring our troops home from these 7 endless wars we're involved in, as well as 800 foreign military bases. And on the basis of those tension-reducing initiatives, go to the nuclear powers and say we want complete and mutual nuclear disarmament. And we'll have 122 nations behind us because 3 years ago they agreed to a treaty on the prohibition of nuclear weapons. And the International Campaign for the Abolition of Nuclear Weapons got the Nobel Peace Prize for that. And hardly anybody knows that because our corporate state media doesn't talk about it, and none of the other presidential candidates are talking about it. The Green Party's got to make that a top campaign issue. So we have green solutions for the coronavirus, climate, inequality, and this threat of nuclear destruction. But we got to build a party that can force those issues into the agenda. So my campaign has put a lot of emphasis into getting our party on the ballot in all 50 states and the District of Columbia. And when we do that, we're going to be paid attention to. We just committed $10,000 to get the Alaska petition done. And in the states in the lower 48, where street petitioning is unreasonable, given the social distancing under coronavirus, we're appealing to state governments. And if they don't give us relief, we're taking them to court. We've assembled a team of lawyers and we're making progress. We just got a court victory last week in Illinois. We're on the ballot in Illinois. The other thing we're doing, and these ballot lines are important because out of 40 of the 50 states, the presidential vote determines whether we have a ballot line for the next election cycle. And I still believe we got to build this from the bottom up. We have 129 Greens elected around the country. We should be electing thousands as we go into the 2020s. Local, then state, and Congress. We get a caucus in Congress, we run somebody for president, they won't be able to ignore us. Matching funds. We expect in the next few weeks to qualify. And thank you, Michigan. You're one of the states that qualified. We need 20 states to contribute $5,000 or more in contributions of $250 or less. So we expect in a few weeks to qualify, and those of you that contributed and can still contribute from Michigan will have your donations doubled up to $250. We're starting to get in the media. I've been in the New York Post, the Washington Post, the LA Progressive, the New Yorker, a lot of places. Of course, what they always say is, you're going to spoil it for Biden. And of course, what I always say is, no, they're spoiling it because the Democrats have not gotten behind the solution to that problem, which is a national popular vote using ranked choice voting. And, you know, we're giving that message, and we expect to get more into the media and make this a real debate. And finally, speaking of debates, we're not going to get through the Commission on Presidential Debates, which is owned by the Democrats and Republicans. It's not a government agency. But the League of Women Voters, I think we can get them to step up. We did it in New York in 2018 in the governor's race, and I think it's time for them to step up because the Democrats and Republicans muscled them aside about 3 decades ago. And I think we can push them, and that's a strategy to get into the debate. And finally, my last point. Look, Greens are activists. We show up. And then when we want to organize the people we know we need to become a major party and force in this country, working class people, people of color and youth, we tend to be preachers, not organizers. We tend to take a leaflet, join us, and these people don't know us, they don't trust us. We need to act like organizers who go and listen and help and build relationships and friendships and trust. And what we got to do is build the Green Party at the grassroots in these communities so that when there are issues, the community people know who the Green Party people are, and they know us, they trust us, they come to us to find out what needs to be done or to talk about what needs to be done. And that's what we got to do. We got to become organizers, not just mobilizers of the usual suspects. And some people are looking for a shortcut with a celebrity. It's no substitute for doing the grassroots work. So one thing my campaign hopes to do And we'll do is have some seminars. We got to do it online now about helping us learn the kinds of things a union organizer knows, a community organizer knows, so we can go out and build the base of this party. So that's what my campaign's about. I'm asking for your vote in the primary. Thank you, and please be safe out there.